What's up, Savvy Expats? In this video, we have a wonderful conversation with Heidi, the co-founder of C&G Consulting, a company specializing in getting visas for Philippine expats. If you haven't already, be sure to check part 1 of our conversation with Heidi. As for this video, part 2, we dive into the documents that are required to attain your SRRV retirement visa in the Philippines, the fees that come along with that, and also how to go about processing this visa. So if you're interested in that, feel free to stick around until the end of the video. Let's get into it.
So Heidi, can you tell us a little bit about the process of getting a retirement visa?
So very basic. We just need documents from you. If you have a pension, then you need to get a pension certificate proving how much income that you're receiving from either a public pension, a private pension, or your military pension. And then for military, for people who are veterans who have military experience, then you need to have a proof of service. So that could be your DD-214, honorable discharge, and then you need to get these documents apostilled. So apostille is basically a process where, in the Philippines, we cannot verify documents in the US. So apostille is a treaty between countries. It's actually from the Hague Convention, wherein you need to get the stamp at the Secretary of State Department of the state that you belong to, just to verify those documents.
Right.
So normally this takes about 4 to 6 weeks. If you don't know how to do this, you can actually get a lawyer in the US to do this for you. So any document coming from the US, you have to get it apostilled. So you can't just come here, hey, I have a social security benefit and here's my, my pension. And there is also a pension requirement. So for single applicants of the SRRV Classic, you need to have a pension of at least 800. There are also couples that come here to the Philippines. We need to have 1,000 USD. And then normally the rest of it is 1,000 USD.
Okay,
Yeah,
gotcha.
depending on the type.
So we talk about how that the documents that you get in the States has to be apostilled, but digging deeper into that, when moving to the Philippines and getting your retirement visa, what other documents should an expat get before actually leaving the States?
So major documents, those are the ones. You can actually get a police clearance, but that police clearance, you can actually do it here in the Philippines. We have the same thing called Interpol clearance. I recommend doing that because the police clearance is actually a requirement that has a time lapse of 6 months. You're better off getting it here and having your 6 months start here. So other requirements would be the NBI clearance if you've stayed here for more than 30 days, and then medical clearance from the Bureau of Quarantine. So all those have to be done here in the Philippines.
Okay, so
Yeah.
medical clearance, police clearance, and NBI clearance
Yes.
are the 3 main documents to get in the States, but you can also get it here in the Philippines?
You can get it in the States, but you can also get that in the Philippines.
Okay, so that's another thing to mention because so many of my clients, they've wasted, before they came to services, I imagine your clients come to with C&G and then mine as well. The biggest headache they have is they spend thousands of dollars on apostilling their documents, running around, getting it, wasted days,
Yeah.
and wasting money on getting these documents, these 3 documents we just spoken of. But little do they know that they can actually get it here.
Yeah, we call it an Interpol clearance.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. And I know we also talked about the cost of getting a retirement visa in the Philippines, $10K for the SRRV Classic, and then 1.5 for the military retirement visa. So, what are the other fees that come along with that?
So the basic fees are basically 1,400 USD, one-time payment as your application fee, an annual fee of 360 USD, which you have to pay every year to maintain the SRRV, and then $10 for the SRRV ID. So what comes off upon your initial application, the one-time fee, is actually 1,760.
Okay.
And then the 360 you have to pay every year.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. 1,760.
Yes.
And that's excluding like the main application, which is like 10K for
Yes. So
SRRV.
the application, the deposit.
Right.
So
Oh, the deposit,
the
yeah.
deposit is actually something you can get back because it's a deposit. It doesn't have to stay in the PRA's account. So, for example, you want to cancel your visa because you don't like living in the Philippines anymore. You'll get that money back. Yeah, you can get that money back. And then, you also have the option to invest it in the 2 things that I mentioned, the condo or the long-term lease. So it doesn't have to stay with PRA. A lot of the retirees here always think like, they're gonna get my money and have it like stay there for a while and I can't get it back. You can get it back.
Wow.
Yeah.
So if that's not an incentive to move to the Philippines, then I don't know what is, because that's pretty hard to beat. Now, we talk about the costs that come with it, the documents that you need to get for getting your retirement visa in the Philippines. But with your first-hand experience with dealing with immigration in the Philippines, what does the process look like here?
Yeah, that's the reason why you need to use agencies, you know, if you're not such a patient person, because a lot of the processes here are still meticulous. I know we talked about a lot of the developments here in the Philippines, but honestly, government is not as fast-paced as everything else. Like private companies, maybe yes, but the government here is still very tedious. So a lot of the filing is done in person. There are some documents that when you get there, like, oh, we actually need 4 more copies of this. There may be a list available online. But then when you go to the government agency, then they're like, oh, you need 5 copies of this, you need more of this. And plus, you have to be lining up at the government agency, especially if you're getting other types of visa, like the 13A spousal visa.
Gotcha. Now transitioning into more of the crowd that you see moving here to the Philippines, because you're consistently dealing with expats, where are the majority of your clients coming from?
Americans, yeah.
So how about like European, Australian, not so much?
Some, but I can tell you that probably 85% of our clients are coming from the US. So I've been talking to a lot of you guys.
Right.
Yeah.
And so why do you see the majority of these foreign retirees want to move to the Philippines?
Cost of living is very low. I think that's one of the major reasons why. And a lot of them are coming here to get married.
Get married. Well, hence why the 13A visa.
Yes, exactly. So, and then, you know, a lot of them appreciate the beauty of the Philippines and how nice everyone is. Everyone is always, you know, very happy and very simple. And I think that contributes to the quality of life that you get here in the Philippines.
100%. I mean, I always talk about on my channel of why I see a lot of Westerners want to move to the Philippines, and it's just because life in the West, specifically in America, I mean, depending on where you live, it's cold. A lot of the Westerners feel lonely there. High cost living, taxes, and so to come out here to the Philippines where they can find companionship, warm environment, they can find and integrate a community themselves into a community very easily, I think is what makes the Philippines so attractive to a lot of these foreigners, would you say?
And it's summer all year round, so.
Exactly, summer all year round. Maybe these days a little too much for me.
It's too much, yeah.
Too much,
it's too hot.
But still better than Chicago, so I'll take it. So to wrap things up, Heidi, what would you say is the importance of sticking with an agency for an expat's move to the Philippines?
I mean, you know, you can do it yourself, but I think it's always best to use an agency that is actually based in the country where you're moving to. Mostly because the agencies will have the information that you need. I think doing it yourself will take a lot longer because you need to study, and of course you're dealing with locals that will be processing your papers. Using an agency basically cuts off from that time that you're wasting lining up at agencies. And I think one of the best reason is convenience. Because you know, a lot of the retirees who come here, I mean, you could be using that time enjoying yourself, right? Rather than wasting your time sitting at a government agency waiting for hours.
Right.
I think that's the major reason why, convenience. And also with an agency, you know, our profession and what we do is basically to be knowledgeable about the processes that we do, especially for the visa applications. And with any problem that arises, we can already fix it, you know? Because as a foreigner coming here and trying to fix a problem, it could be difficult because a lot of the information with visas are not available online. Like only maybe agencies or the government agencies will know how to solve this problem.
Right.
Yeah. I don't know if you've experienced it, but looking for information here, it's a bit difficult.
Oh,
right?
100%. 100%. I mean, you go to these websites, you can't necessarily find what you're looking for with a straight answer. So, I mean, like they always say, I believe it goes, you can have it done fast, you can have it done cheap, or you can have it done good.
Yes.
And so, just being connected to the right people that will actually smoothen the transition out to the Philippines, I think that's pretty priceless. So, anyways, Heidi, I appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me.
As always, great speaking with you. And I'll leave the link in the description to CNG Consulting Services so you can have a smooth transition to the Philippines. And if you need your business registration taken care of, visas taken care of, they're your guys. So thank you all for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. God bless.
Bye.